Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. On today's video I'm going to be showing you how I build an armature for my sculptures. So what you'll need are wire cutters, flat nose pliers and some decent craft wire. So this particular craft wire is pretty sturdy, but it's really nice and flexible at the same time. It's also plastic coated, which isn't great, but I'll show you a quick fix for that a little bit later. So you can see even when I muck around with this wire, it really holds its shape, so it's a really good choice, despite being plastic. Also, this wire is about 2.5mm in thickness. So first of all, we're gonna build the spine. So I bend up slightly, that will be our neck eventually. And then I just pull it out and shape it as I go along a little bit. And then I kind of curve it around slightly at the end. You're just working for a basic shape here. We'll work into it better later on. And you take your pliers and you snip it off. So you can see here that I'm actually working on a centimetre gridded craft mat. So that should give you a good idea of the sizes that I'm going for. So the spine's about 13 centimetres or so. And then now we're going to cut the legs. So I take my wire and I fold it over on itself. And give it a little squeeze to kind of shape it as best you can. It will be a bit weird at this point, but obviously we'll shape it better shortly. Just getting a rough idea of a shape at the second. You're going to clip the end so the two lengths are the same. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the second bit of wire. But what you'll see me doing is I'm going to take the leg we've just made and measure it along the wire to make sure we've got the exact same length for the second pair of legs. And these legs are about 15 centimetres. So now we're going to take our flat nose pliers and just squeeze the end a little bit so it's a bit tighter. You can see the difference there between the one we haven't tightened yet and the new one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to thread it onto our spine. And just by making it a little bit closer, it just makes your life a lot easier because it kind of holds itself in place a bit better. We take our pliers again and we're going to squeeze really tightly to secure that into place. And then we'll do a couple of twists of the legs to make sure that they're nice and firmly attached to the spine. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for the back legs. So it's important to keep checking your photos here to see how long your animal that you're making actually is. This particular armature is for a dog. So it's worth checking back and making sure that you've got your back and leg length okay. So again, we're just squeezing tightly with our pliers and then we're going to twist those legs to secure them into place. And now we have a really long Salvador Dali style animal. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start bending them to be more anatomically correct. So we're going to start with the front legs and we're going to work around the chest area. So you can see I've bent those slightly and then another bend just after the chest to start building on the legs. Now we can go back in and tweak, so don't panic too much. This is just a rough shape to get you started. And once we've done the front legs, we'll move on to the back legs. Now, if you're struggling with your shapes, it's always worth having a look at skeletons of the animal that you're making, whether or not that's in a book or online. It's always worth having a little look just to make sure you're getting the right idea. Now, the other important thing is to make sure that your armature can stand up, because if it doesn't stand up, it's really hard to make it stand up if you carry on going without tweaking. So you can see here, I've checked that it stands, and it does, but I'm a little bit unsure of the way it's standing. So I'm tweaking those feet to make sure that it's nice and square. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a plastic coated wire and it adds quite a lot of unnecessary bulk. So I'm going to carefully take my scissors and cut around it without cutting into the wire, and you can sort of pull this plastic sheath away and it reduces the bulk and it will really help you felt onto this armature later on. So we're going to do that for all 4 legs. So there we go. Now obviously we've trimmed off these horrible plastic bits from the armature, and I don't know about you, but I don't want these going into the environment. So my family and I actually use something called an eco brick, and this is all the unrecyclable plastics that you can't put in your normal recycling waste. And what you do is you build up a brick, and you can actually send these off all around the country. There's a great website called ecobricks.org. And to finish this part of the armature, we're just going to trim all 4 legs, so those paws. So I normally trim to about 1 to 2 centimeters normally, and I'll show you how to work these properly in the next video. So the next video is going to be about building up the armature with wool. So that'll be out next week, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys.